The love you were chasing was never lost. It was just looking in the wrong mirror. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred pause where Black women unlearn survival and rediscover softness, rest, and radical joy. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with Latoya Griffin, a 42-year-old mother of six from Youngstown, Ohio, who has walked through fire and come out the other side with over a year of sobriety. Latoya is not just surviving anymore, she's thriving. And she's on a mission to make sure other women and young girls know that recovery is possible, that healing is real, and that your story, no matter how messy, can save someone's life. Her courage to share her journey from addiction and prostitution to reclaiming her identity is changing the world one testimony at a time. Latoya is proof that when a woman decides to choose herself, the world shifts. And what Latoya shared with me, what she's living through right now, is the heartbeat of everything we're talking about today. Because here's the thing, when you spent your whole life looking for love and acceptance in all the wrong places, when you've been taught that survival is the only option, when you've worn the cape so long you forgot what your shoulders felt like without it, softness feels like a foreign language. But it's the language your soul has been begging you to learn. Let me be clear. This conversation isn't just for women who've walked the streets, it's for every woman who's ever chased validation in spaces that didn't deserve her. It's for every woman who's ever said yes when her body screamed no. It's for every woman who's ever believed that being strong meant never breaking down. And it's for every young girl who's watching the women around her and wondering if exhaustion is just part of being a woman. So let's talk about what Latoya taught me, what the research confirms, and what we all need to hear. Recovery is possible even after profound hardship. I know that sounds like a motivational poster, but stay with me. Latoya's journey from the streets of Youngstown to over a year clean is not a fairy tale. It's grit, it's grace, it's waking up every single day and choosing herself even when the world told her she wasn't worth choosing. And she's not alone. There's a story that doesn't get told enough. In the 1970s, the Alkali Lake tribe in British Columbia, Canada, was drowning. 100% of the community struggled with alcoholism. Historical trauma, loss of culture, intergenerational pain, it all compounded into a crisis that felt insurmountable. Families were falling apart. Children were growing up watching their parents disappear into bottles. The community was on the edge of extinction, not physically, but spiritually. But in 1972, something remarkable happened. A chief's daughter made a plea that sparked a cultural revival. And this wasn't just about putting down the bottle, this was about picking up identity. The community didn't just go to rehab, they returned to their roots. They reclaimed their traditions, held sobriety pledges, engaged in cultural ceremonies, and rebuilt family structures rooted in pride and identity. They gathered in circles and remembered who they were before the trauma. They sang songs their grandparents sang. They told stories that had been buried under shame. They chose to heal together, not in isolation. And you know what happened? They achieved and maintained a 95% recovery rate for over 4 decades. 4 decades. That's not a statistic. That's a testament to what happens when healing is rooted in identity, when recovery is wrapped in culture, when a community says, we're not just surviving, we're reclaiming who we are. Now, why am I telling you about a native tribe when we're talking about Black women? Because the model works. When marginalized communities reconnect with their cultural identity, when they stop trying to heal in systems that were never built for them, when they reclaim who they are at the core, recovery doesn't just happen, it sustains. And that's what Latoya is doing. She's not just getting clean, she's reconnecting with herself, her roots, her worth. She's proving that culture heals addiction, that identity is medicine, and that Black women deserve recovery programs that honor their full humanity. But here's the part that gutted me: seeking love and acceptance in wrong places leads to destruction, but self acceptance paves the way to healing. Latoya's story, like so many others, is rooted in a search for someone to see her, to value her, to tell her she mattered. And when you don't find that love at home, when you don't find it in your community, when you don't find it in the mirror, you go looking. And sometimes you end up in places that take more than they give. Cheney Allen knew this. In 1980, she became the first Black woman to author a recovery memoir. I'm Black and I'm sober. Think about that for a second. 1980, a time when Black women's pain was invisible, when addiction in our communities was whispered about but never addressed, when seeking help meant walking into rooms where no one looked like you and no one understood your story. Cheney's addiction was intertwined with racial trauma, with a lack of culturally responsive treatment, with seeking acceptance in destructive spaces because the world told her she didn't belong anywhere else. She was chasing love in rooms that didn't have space for her. She was pouring herself into people who couldn't see her. She was trying to fill a void that could only be filled from within. But she found her way back. She embraced sobriety through self authored narrative, through cultural pride, through community support networks that actually saw her. And her book became a lifeline for generations of Black women who felt invisible in their pain. Cheney didn't just get sober. She gave voice to a silence that was killing us. She said out loud what so many Black women were whispering in the dark: I'm struggling, I'm hurting, I'm addicted, and I deserve to heal. Her memoir shattered the myth that Black women are too strong to break, too resilient to need help, too proud to admit pain. She proved that our stories, when told honestly, can break chains for generations. Latoya is walking that same path. She's redirecting the search inward. She's learning that the love she was chasing on the streets, the acceptance she thought she needed from men who didn't value her, it was always supposed to come from within. And that's the work, isn't it? That's the soft girl era in its rawest form. It's not about bubble baths and face masks, though those are lovely. It's about the deep, uncomfortable, soul shaking work of learning to be soft with yourself in a world that taught you survival. And here's where it gets even more powerful: your story can save others. Share it boldly. Latoya didn't just get clean for herself, she got clean so she could look other women in the eye and say, I've been where you are, and there's a way out. She got clean so young girls in Youngstown wouldn't think the streets were their only option. She got clean because she knows that silence keeps cycles alive, but testimony breaks them. Laura Cathcart Robbins understands this too. She's a New York Times best-selling author, a Black woman, a mother, and someone who hid her addiction while trying to hold it all together. She was high functioning, which is just another way of saying she was drowning in plain sight. She was the woman who showed up to every meeting, every school event, every family gathering, smiling and composed while secretly unraveling. She was the woman everyone thought had it together because that's what we do. We perform strength even when we're falling apart. But when she started sharing her story publicly through books, through podcasts, through raw, unfiltered honesty, something shifted. She built a platform that now inspires Black women and youth to seek help, to tell the truth, to stop performing strength, and start embracing healing. She showed the world that addiction doesn't always look like what we think it does. Sometimes it looks like the woman in the corner office. Sometimes it looks like the mother at the PTA meeting. Sometimes it looks like the friend who always has it together. That's what Latoya is doing. That's what this entire movement is about. We're creating a space where Black women can drop the cape, release the roles, and say out loud, I'm tired, I'm hurt, I'm healing. And I'm not doing it alone anymore. Now, I want to talk to you directly. If you're listening to this and you've been chasing love in the wrong places, if you've been saying yes to people who don't deserve access to you, if you've been running on empty because you think rest is a luxury you can't afford, I need you to pause today, right now. Journal one healthy way to seek self acceptance. Maybe it's connecting with your cultural roots. Maybe it's reaching out to a recovery mentor. Maybe it's just sitting in silence and asking yourself, what do I actually need? And then share your story with one person, one, because your testimony, messy as it may be, could be the lifeline someone else is searching for. Latoya wants women who've been there to know they're not alone. She wants young girls headed that way to see hope in her resilience. And she's emphasizing culturally rooted recovery because she knows that healing happens when we stop trying to fit into systems that weren't built for us and start building our own. This is the soft girl era. This is the sacred pause. This is where we unlearn survival and rediscover softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. This is where we stop apologizing for taking up space and start protecting our peace as a practice. This is where we turn survival into something sacred, something supportive, something that changes the world. Latoya Griffin is living proof that recovery is possible. She's living proof that self acceptance is the foundation of healing. She's living proof that your story, no matter how painful, can save lives. And she's doing it with passion, with fire, with an unshakable belief that every woman deserves a comeback. So here's what I need you to do: not tomorrow, not next week, today. If you're a woman chasing love in the wrong places, stop. Put down whatever you're holding and ask yourself, where am I looking for validation that I should be giving myself? Write it down, say it out loud, share it with someone you trust, because the moment you redirect that search inward is the moment everything changes. If you're a woman who's already on the journey, who's already doing the work, who's already choosing herself, keep going. Your soft girl era is not a destination, it's a daily practice. It's a commitment to softness in a world that demands hardness. It's a rebellion against the lie that rest is weakness and boundaries are selfish. And if you're a young girl watching the women around you, wondering if exhaustion is just part of being a woman, let me tell you something. It's not. You don't have to carry what wasn't yours to begin with. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to earn love by being useful. You are worthy simply because you exist. The love you were chasing was never lost. It was just looking in the wrong mirror. Turn inward, reclaim yourself, share your story, break the cycle. Because the world doesn't need more women surviving. The world needs more women thriving, resting, healing, and unapologetically choosing themselves. Your soft girl era is waiting, and it's going to be beautiful. Now go be soft, go be free, go be you.